Good evening, everyone. Tonight is Tuesday, I do believe. Tonight we're going to be doing a bearded babble. Tonight's going to be a very fun one. It's going to be an amazing one with Akio Evans. He is a good friend. He is an amazing artist, an amazing inspiration. I'm going to be bringing him in shortly. This is just, again, I can tell you right now, this is going to be a great one just because of the energy. Donnell just left my house with 40, two of the greatest people in the world. They were here most of the day. We ate, we laughed, we just had a wonderful time. So we have an energy that was needed. Some people will go on vacation to recharge. Some people will go away. Some people do different things. We've been stuck in the house for over a year, and today Donnell and 40 stopped by the house, and they recharged us. They certainly did. They brought the energy and the love and everything that they bring right into our home. So. Truly grateful for that. I'm going to jump right in here. I'm going to get Aki on here, and we're just going to continue. It's like a family night is what it is. It's continuing with the family here. And the last time I saw Akio was at my 50th birthday party here. I was just saying, the last time I saw you was at my 50th birthday party here with Donnell and 40 and everybody like that. So it's just, the family vibe just continues.
Yes, it does. It does. Wow.
How are you?
Oh man, I'm well. I'm great. I've just was taken back by what you just said. Even when you told me, when you text me, you was like, "Yo, D and 40 was just here." I said, "Yo, that's crazy," because every time they come through, either I'm there or either it's the same synergy. So I just appreciate you just even actually saying this way beforehand. But that's how the universe works and how God works in mysterious ways, man. And just bringing people together. A lot of people on the surface probably won't think that it's that deep, but for you and most people who are close to us know that things just fall into alignment. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see. You know what I mean?
It absolutely truly is. And it was funny because I knew that Donnell was going to be in the area. And last night, Jenny and I were talking, and we were like, oh, he's going to be in the area. I mean, he was here at the end of last year when things were a little bit rougher, and he stopped by, and we didn't know what was going on, so we only got to see him through the window, and that was heartbreaking. I mean, it was a beautiful thing, but it was absolutely heartbreaking when you can't see. As soon as they pulled up today, I just ran outside and just gave him hugs even before they got to the stairs. It was just it felt so good. We're still being extremely cautious. We have to be. They've been extremely cautious. We were masked up the whole time, doing everything that we had to do. But man, it was, my face hurts. You can, if you look carefully, if you see in my beard here, this is marking from wearing the mask all day, but it was smiling all day. So it was pulling on the mask. So I got the mask marking you couldn't see it all day, but you could see in the eyes, we were all just smiling and laughing. You know the energy firsthand.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The energy is like, even with just even meeting you, connecting with you, it was like right when I met you on the spot, it was just like you opened with me with open arms. And that was way before you even recognized what was going on. For those who may not know, me, Bearded, and Donnell, when was that? That was like in 2019, I believe, 2019. Yeah, it was Andy's birthday celebration, and he had no idea I was coming from Baltimore. That day I actually came from, I was driving already to Staten Island, New York for this self-improvement conference. And I'm there sitting inside the conference, and I was just sharing with one of the individuals that was there at the conference what I was going to do afterwards. And I was like, I'm going to Jersey to surprise one of my friends for his B-Day. She said, "You going to Jersey? Do you know what time it is?" She said, "Rush hour. Like, she said, you need to leave right now." I said, "You serious?" She said, "Yeah, you need to leave right now." So I jetted, drove through Manhattan and got to Jersey right in time, still in time. I was just so grateful in that moment, even though I was like tired, running off of 2 hours of sleep. Just like Andy said, when they came, it's just not even Donnell and everybody in the gang specifically. It's just everybody coming together on the same accord. You can be exhausted. Like, I was exhausted, but just being around with each other, it just brings that energy. And then with, of course, with you and your fam and, Jayden, and y'all receiving the same love that I put into the shoes as well. I thought, you guys would, man. It was just beautiful, man. So again, no, you got it right. Oh man.
You showed up You showed up, and first off, you showing up was a gift in itself. That was again, like you said, you didn't have to take that drive. You didn't have to do this. You didn't have to bring anything, and you did. And again, it's a connection. Again, I'm still just beginning to learn about it and understand it and embrace it. Because again, I talked about that on here. I was one of those people that, you know, like when you talk about energy and people connecting, a couple of years ago, I was like, okay, you know, like I've heard it. I never really believed in it. But I tell you, through my journey, and I was talking to Donnell about this today, my journey and all that I'm doing and the amazing people that I've met, it all started with him. Everything started with him. Everything branches off from a seed that was planted when me and him connected. And it's just been an absolutely amazing thing. Amazing artists, amazing human beings, amazing energies. And I'm so grateful for it, because my life is definitely in a different place. It's definitely in a different direction than I may have thought that it was going to go, that I may have tried for it to go. Still working with the comedy, but now it's a comedy, good energy thing. And amazing. And amazing is what you do. And
2019, man, they still fresh. Look at
they
that.
are. I'm telling you, Jayden loves these things. There have been a lot of nights.
Wow.
Wow. A lot of nights. He'll just sit with these. He will sit with these in his bed. He has all his favorite characters. He has his Spider-Mans. He has his Venoms, his Doc Ocks, all his favorite characters from the Spider-Verse. Yeah. He'll sit and he'll play with them in bed, and these are there with him.
Wow.
These are there with. He wore them once. He put them on. He looked at them, and he was just like, no. He knows that this is art. He knows exactly what this is.
Wow. man, and then, you know, it's crazy because, you know, a lot of when I started, actually, wow, I'm gonna take it back a little bit, man, because you just shared with when you first met Donnell how your life had made a whole entire shift with the journey of understanding how the things work with, you know, with the energy and with people and just the synergy per se. And I'm gonna say the same thing had happened for me as well. And I think that I shed a little light on it when I talked to Donnell on his live just about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was in a time frame that, of course, I was going through a lot. And every time I'm doing something big, like if I have something that I'm doing, like recently with the Dr. Dre's or the other people who I've been able to commission do the artwork for, it's always something major that's going on in my life that you got to put on a happy face. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not even in your shoes, Andy, just even because I know what you and your wife and your fam go through on a day-to-day. Like, so that I'm not touching bases, but everybody has their own journey. So what I'm saying, going back to what I was about to talk about, is that when I met Donnell was just, wow, this is okay. So he'd been wanting me to make the shoes for him in, let me say, December of 2014. So when January 2015 came, you had February had happened, March, and in April, that's when Baltimore went through the Baltimore uprising with the passing of Freddie Gray. And, you know, Donnell was in town that next day. And again, like, I was just like, oh, man, like, I already knew I was supposed to be commissioned to make the shoes for him. He's like, I'm in DC. I said, yo, like, I was telling him, I said, hey, man, like, look, they done had everything on lockdown. I can't go nowhere, man. And it was like, he was like, and I haven't even met Donnell yet. And I even know that he already been through up and down Baltimore. He knows, like, Towson Mall, all that other stuff, right? So I said, yeah, man, they just shut all the stores down. I can't do it, man. He said, funny. He said, yo, he said, I know you can go to Towson. I know you can go to, and that shocked me, right? I was like, whoa, like, he know about Baltimore, right? So he was like, yo, why you making excuses, man? Look, man, we coming through, man. And that same night, it was a fire that erupted in East Baltimore. You know, I don't think that it was related to the uprising. I think it was more so on its own agenda, right? And I didn't get home until like 2 o'clock in the morning. And a friend of mine was telling me, like, look, you know, because I was like, you know what? I didn't even start the customs yet. And I was supposed to meet him within 24 hours. I was like, yo, I got to go to work the next morning. I said, man, I ain't doing these, man. And my friend said, hey, look, I know what we're going through, but look, she was like, don't allow what you and I are going through and the falling out that we're having to interrupt what you got going on. So then I pushed forward, and I didn't get any sleep, and I finished the shoes till about 6 o'clock in the morning, took the pictures, sent it to Donnell, and I kind of like slept for about an hour. I woke up, and he woke up. I woke up to a text that said, "Hey, yo, the shoes is dope. I showed Dave. Dave wants a pair." He said, "Hey, I'm gonna see you tonight, right?" I still was making excuses like, "Yeah, yo, I got the shoes done, but I don't think I'm gonna go to DC to see you, man, because we on lockdown. We got like, and he still was like, yo, you making excuses for yourself." So what I say all that to say this: soon as I made that connection with him that night at the Howard Theater in DC, that from that point on, I seen things differently with seizing the moment, seizing the opportunity, and if I hadn't done it that night, because you know how Donnell is, like, he probably would be like, oh man, he quick to cut you off. You get what I'm saying? And I'm glad that I pushed through. I'm glad that the powers that be that allowed me to push through, because at the end of the day, that relationship has started and sparked a lot that I needed that a part of my journey. I needed to meet him where I was, and I'm still growing into who I am today as a man, a young black man, as an artist, as a mentor, and it's nothing but the life journey in itself. We're always life learners. You get what I'm saying? So, I'm just grateful, man. I'm just grateful for that, and meeting him, and also meeting. And it just everything had to work together to allow things to really take place, man. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for you bringing me on board. First of all, thank you for even having me tonight on this session. You know what I mean?
You are, like I said, we're going to get further into your art. We're going to get further into you, because you and yourself are an extreme inspiration. Things that you've been through, things that you're going through. The way you maneuver. Believe me, I watch you, and you are like I said. Some people know, some people don't know. Yes, we do have a difficult life. We all carry different weights on our shoulders, but things that keep me going more than you ever know are just people like yourself. Like, I may like you, I may like something, I may comment on it, I may put a couple of fire things, a couple of hearts, but it's not just a comment, it's not just a like, it's putting something in me. And going back to what you said, I'm really beginning to realize something now, a pattern here. Spending a lot of time talking to a lot of people, again, that I've connected with through Donnell, the energies that you connect with, I'm beginning to realize a pattern. And I realized this a little while ago, and Donnell and I have talked about this. When he bullied me, I use the term bully, and he'll use the term. And if anybody's listening should not go, Donnell doesn't bully anybody, but he does bully you. But you got to understand the way he bullies you. When he called me up my first time when I wanted to get into stand-up, and he said, you should get into stand-up, he basically called me up and said, you got 5 minutes when I come to Caroline's next month. Hung up the phone. That's like, I called him back. I'm like, do you want to hear what I have? No, 5 minutes, click. But and like, even like the day before, I'm like, do you want to hear what I'm going up on? No. But if and a lot of people know the story too. One of the, and actually, it's funny. I'm actually wearing the shirt.
Wow.
Charlie Murphy. Donnell bullied Charlie Murphy to get on stage. The reason Charlie Murphy got on stage and became a comedian was because Donnell bullied him. Donnell kept, oh, you're funny. Oh, you think you're funny. Get up on stage if you're really funny. You can talk all this around with all of us. Get up on stage. Wow. And I think what Donnell does is he sees things, and I thanked him for this too. He sees things in people that we may not see. And I had on Kid Stance the other day, Denver, a very good friend of mine too, and he's always constantly thanking me. And I kind of see it in the same type of thing, where an amazing artist, an amazing talent for what he builds and for what he does, and again, a beautiful human being, beautiful inspiration. I saw something and I just said, hey, you can build an empire with doing what you're doing. And he still credits me to this day for his rise. But no, I had nothing to do with the rise. I just saw something in him, as I'm seeing now Donnell sees in people. And Donnell, again, bullies you. It's not a bully. It's just hey, listen, you got something, do it, use it, do something with it. You have something. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we're just afraid to, you think, okay, I'm an artist. Okay, I'm funny. Okay, but am I am I anything better? Am I a higher level? And Donnell's, if he sees it in you, he will tell you, yes, you are a higher level. Do it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and like even when being on the road with him, understanding how he had to move and how he moved, because we was on the road, we went on the road maybe like a few times, and I didn't understand in the midst of us traveling through the spots that he would take naps. Me, as I was filming, I looked at the downtimes as just pretty much dumping the card so that way I can have an empty card to film on the next what's the name. But I remember in those moments that we were on the road, he would share with me that, and this is wild because it came full circle. He was like, yo, like, you know, I'm kind of like at a point where I love stand up, I love doing it, but I want to do voiceovers for animation. He said this in 2015, right? So I remember, and it's a picture that him and I have that's on my profile. You got to dig deep, but I'm driving him. I was driving a Mustang, and he was sitting, and he took a little selfie. And it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? And I didn't get no sleep whatsoever. And I learned my lesson. I'll tell you how in a little bit after I share this with you. But when he shared that he wanted to like at least have a balance of his on the road to actually being you know, doing the voiceovers and doing that, you know, and then full circle 2020 for him to have his first, you know, feature in Soul with Dez, you know, it came full circle. But that's the thing with him doing the stand up. He didn't necessarily stop doing the stand up. He kept that. He used that as a vehicle to get into the destination where he really wanted to go. And that position with him playing Dez is going to open up a lot of different opportunities. So with me, I look at it where you have me back in the day, I didn't have the brightest past as many of us know, you know, a lot of us have a past. I mean, you know, how I'm even talking now is not how I used to talk back in the day, you know, and I had warrants, you know, I was from the streets, and then that it resulted to me being homeless. And the story goes on and on with me being in Phoenix, Arizona on my own, bouncing forth back to Spokane, Washington, to Idaho, all because I wasn't ready to do my time here in Baltimore, and I wasn't ready to do my time in Phoenix. Because when I went to Phoenix, Arizona, my mindset, my environment changed, but my mindset still stayed the same. And as a result of me growing up and being in a single parent home, I had the idea of if I don't get it, I take it, right? So every time I see anybody, a kid or youth, even when I teach the schools, or if I'm talking to the schools, or I'm speaking virtual to the students, I connect with them in a way because I know and I see where they were. I see me and them, and I say all that to say that me now working the job that I work, I haven't worked. This is the first official job I ever had in my life, and to be honest with you, this job in itself, since I've been working there since 2010. Has been the first job that has been keeping me out of trouble. And I remember there was a time that when I got from Phoenix and I came back to Baltimore and I couldn't get a job, they wouldn't even hire me at McDonald's. And all I wanted was to contribute to society, to have some income. Before I even discovered any of my gifts, before I even discovered that I can make a big incentive on my gifts. I mean, granted, now I'm getting paid $1,000 for customs or commissions, right? I'm getting paid that. But that didn't happen in 2015. That didn't happen in 2010. That didn't happen in 2005. 2004, 2005, I was homeless. But the transition of 2010, 5 years after that, that I was able to land my first job at Hopkins, that enabled me to really hone in on my craft. It enabled me to separate myself, which I didn't want to do. That wasn't an easy task because I always felt like I was a dude that always felt like I needed to be on the block. I was a dude that always felt like I needed to be around those peers that, yes, I love them. Yes, we grew up together. Yes, we have all these stories, but it didn't do anything for my growth. So when I started to work at this job, it forced me to be disciplined with my time at a time where I was just filming parties. I had, you know, commercials on Comcast through me filming nightclubs and all that, me discovering my gift. From that point on all the way up until now, I'm used, just like how Donnell used the comedy as his vehicle, right? To fund, to take care of his residences, whether it's in New York or in LA. He used it as a vehicle because if you stop that vehicle, If you stop that vehicle and you just flat out say, yo, bump that, the Pixar gig would have had came, yeah, it would have came, or it might not have came, but by you projecting, by you putting it into practice, right? By you putting into practice your voice, that thing's falling into line. Now, I feel like with the fear of, when I was in Phoenix, Arizona, when I was in Spokane, I had my own store. You know what I mean? When I took my leap of faith from 17 to 18, I had my own store. I was selling T-shirts at Underground Station. I was doing it on my own. I would go around with the Polaroid, my book, and show people what I do. So I've been there and done that on that level. But now I'm at a level where now my dream is making my gift is making room for me now. So more than ever, if this was the year that, you know, I want to actually say, yo, you know what, bump that. I'm about to just, you know, it's getting there now, but it wasn't there 5 years ago. So I would just say that we use things as a vehicle, just like how you look at Peter Parker. Peter Parker, he was what? He was a photographer at the Daily Grind, and he was also a superhero. So he could not just be superhero 24/7. He had to use his gift as a photographer to actually paint that facade so he can do Spider-Man. Bruce Wayne, he couldn't be Bruce Wayne 24/7. He couldn't be hit, but he's really Batman. You know what I mean? So you have individuals like you, Andy, you know, your real life, you like Glorious Heroes, that's my brand, like Keel's Glorious Heroes. The Glorious stands for your gift. Your G in Glorious Heroes stands for your gift. So we're not superheroes, we're glorious heroes. So superheroes have superpowers, but this is real life. So we're glorious heroes. We're using our gift that we discovered, just like a Spider-Man had got bitten and he found that he had superpowers. We connected with individuals and absorb a different energy that we recognize, oh, I can make memes, or I can make shoes, or I can film. So when Akil is doing the cage wash thing during the daytime, right, to fund his dreams, to have lights inside of his apartment, right, until he becomes, you know, until he gets with a team, until Spider-Man gets with the Avengers, right, until Bearded Human gets with Marshall, until he gets with Dave Chappelle, Donnell Rollins, that's your Avengers. Then that's when you can, yes, you can start to be Spider-Man full time, because you got to tackle Thanos now. You got to tackle the big villains now. But until you are able to join the Avengers, until you're able to join the X-Men, until you're able to join the Squad, you need to be Logan. You need to figure out your troubles. You need to hone into your craft. You can't just cut something short without actually knowing the benefits that you're already doing with the Jean Grey, with the Cyclops. You get what I'm saying? You can't them off, because that's your peers. I can't just tell the kids, hey, yo, forget y'all, I'm not teaching y'all, I'm doing my own thing. I'm quitting my job. Because if I quit my job, it's no time to be even giving back and pouring back. In my city in Baltimore, we need it more than ever. Now, I do know that it's a circumstance where you pull people back and you go back and forth, you pull people back, and eventually you're going to have to break off. And when you break off, when you be the Tony Starks, that is making the what do you call it, the technology that he does to create. The reason I'm using these analogies because this is the only way that people can really understand. You know, so when you do become Tony Stark, you don't stop making the stuff for the enterprise. You continue to be Iron Man. You continue to do these things, but all these things work together for the good. You get what I'm saying? Tony Stark can't just be Iron Man all day. He has to go back into the lab and create, and then he can be Iron Man and save the day. You know what I mean? But we're glorious heroes. We're operating our own gifts. Our gift is changing the world. Our gift is making impact. You get what I'm saying? So when people see me at my job, I only share with them what I do. If they find out what I do, it's either they ask me what I got on, and I say, yeah, I make clothes. You make clothes. There's people that have been knowing me for 5 to 7 years. I don't share it. It was a time that me and Donnell, when Dave Chappelle came to Baltimore, and they was going on a private jet. And I could have went on a private jet with them, because that's when I first gave them the second pair of shoes. But I knew that my character wasn't ready for that private jet. Am I going to actually embrace that soon? Yes. But of course, I had to go to work the next day. And I remember I got on the shuttle right after I left the show here in Baltimore from Donnell and Dave. And I remember one of the people that I seen, she was a nurse. She lives in California, but she used to be in Baltimore. She worked here. And she seen the VIP sticker on my left side. She said, where you just coming from? I said, oh, yeah, Dave Chappelle was here. I just coming from the show. And she said, where's he at now? I said, well, they just got on a private jet. She said, so you mean to tell me you got on a JHU shuttle and you left an opportunity to get on a private jet? And yes, but it's a difference between you being around and you being a fly on the wall to you overstaying your welcome. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like at the time frame, yes, that job, I had to go to the job, but I feel like I have other responsibilities. Neglecting those responsibilities, what is that doing to my character? Neglecting the responsibilities of, you know what I mean? So it's so much to just the surface, but society makes it as though you're like, yo, flat out, you got to do this. But they don't know the inner, they don't know that the inner walls of what's inside your soul. They're not even actually asking you the questions. What's really going on with you? What's going on with your mental health? Is you okay? No, but everybody plays the highlight. Everybody's showing the highlight. You know what I'm saying? So much that goes along with that. But like I said to you in the beginning of this conversation, every time I did something big, it was something deep going on in my life. But you see how you just had you said your beard was smiling. He's like, Keo, like, the light, you know what I mean? You don't, yo, Andy, I didn't even know that it was, I didn't even know your story. I didn't know your story. And then when I came, I was like, oh yeah, this is real. Dag, yo, Jayden's right here. Like, you know, wow. And then when you see that video that I did, I'm like, yo, what? Every day? Him and his wife, they got to do this every day? Like, how dare me? How dare anyone complain? You get what I'm saying? So it's just a lot, man. But I'm sorry, I got on my what's the name? But it's a lot, man. It's a lot, you know, when it goes into play.
Listen, I appreciate, and again too, we all carry different weights on our shoulders. You've carried a lot of different things. We all do. I appreciate when people do say that, like, you know, I don't sweat the small stuff as much because of what you go through. I'm grateful that Jayden has that for what we do go through. I'm grateful that Jayden does have that type of inspiration. I know people personally that have changed their lives, that have changed their ways and stopped doing things that they were doing just because they saw, you know, certain things. So again, I don't like the word hate, but there are a lot of days that I do hate for what I see my son go through. But at the same token, I've been asked that question, well, if you can go back in time. Well, first off, you can't go back in time. You can't change anything. And I, you know, initially my answer always was, yeah, of course I would have my son healthy. But in reality, again, I hate what I see my son go through every day. I hate the seizures. I hate the pain. But what my son has brought to the world, this is an odd statement, but had he not got sick, I don't know if he would have ever have touched the world and as many people as he does. So, you know, and again, it's an odd statement. I'm not grateful for what we go through, but I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't. Right. I see life so much differently. You know, we lived in a beautiful house that we were getting our own way. We were putting all this work into it. I was building a Porsche in the garage. I had just bought a brand new BMW. You know, life was perfect. You know, everything was what it was supposed to be. And then my son got sick one night.
Wow.
Everything went out the window. I live in my mother-in-law's attic now. You know, I drive a van. It is what it is. And I'm still smiling every day because Jayden has taught me what's important in life. Wasn't the cars, wasn't the house, it's the family. It's the love. And again, it all kind of comes full circle with, you know, we were lost. Again, you know the story about how the whole Dave Chappelle, how the Chappelle Show first season, you know, DVD, how that was our savior. That was, Jayden was at his absolute worst. We didn't know what was going on. We had that in the hospital and we were like, no, take it home. And then we were like, no, we have to watch that in the hospital. And it was that laughter that really got us through. And again, it's a learning, and it's a realization, and it's beginning of seeing that. And again, not to sound weird, and you know how Donnell, no, you know, homo, whatever, blah blah blah. But it's an energy and it's a love that I don't know if it was in me. I don't know if he brought it out of me. I don't know if he brought it to me. I don't know, but I do know that again, when I connected with him, I connected people, you know, with people like 40, with people like Marshall. You said, I mean, Marshall is one of the most beautiful people on the planet. 40. I mean, everybody around him, you know, and like you too, you know, the first couple of times you're in those settings, you're like, I don't belong here. Like, you're like my wife, I mean, the one time when we were at Radio City, my wife says it all the time. We were in the green room of Radio City when he did like the, however, 20 something shows or whatever. It was like the third or the fourth show. We're sitting back there and like everybody's back there. You can name everybody. And my wife goes, oh my God, she goes, this feels like we're in a Chappelle Show skit. Like, this is not real. And the way, and then Donnell too. Like, he'll get, like, the first couple of times, like, okay, like, be starstruck, stand there with your jaw down. After a couple of times, though, he's like, you're here. He's like, he'll get mad at you. He will get like, stop standing in the corner. Half the people here now. You've talked to them. Then you're here. This is, you're not an outsider. You're here. You're part of this. Get in it. And it just makes you feel comfortable. And again, that's another thing too. I've been around a bunch of people in my life and in my career. I've been on movie sets. I've been around people, and too, certain celebrities, but the Team Chappelle, Team Rawlings, it's just love. It's amazing. And again, I've said it on here, and I know a lot of people probably go, "Oh, that's you can't." The people who have been around it understand it.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. It's family. It's family.
And it's also like to piggyback on what you just said of being, in the same vicinity. I remember I was in DC, and I was I think that was the same night that Donnell had gave me the Dave Chappelle pen, and I put it on my hat or whatever. And I remember it was an after party that we had to sell our phones up and everything like that. And Donnell was like, "Yo, come on stage." I go on stage, and it was this guy with a jersey on that wore shades, and Dave was on the stage and he was talking, and Donnell was there all the way on the other side of the corner of the stage. And here I am, I'm talking to this guy. We shoulder to shoulder. We had a whole 5 to 10 minute conversation. And I don't like necessarily keep up with stuff. I mean, even when I do some of the custom sneakers, like I didn't know who Tyrone Lue was. Some people I know who they are, but majority of the time, you would think that I would know who people are when I do the research and I customize the sneakers. But here I am talking to this gentleman for 5 to 10 minutes, all the way up until Dave had introduced. He said, "Well, guys, he's about to perform at the Super Bowl tomorrow, and I can't afford him being here, so we're not going to keep him any more longer. Bruno Mars, come on stage." And Bruno Mars was like, "All right, man." I was like, "Yo," I said, "that name sounds familiar." I said, the whole time I'm talking to Bruno Mars the whole time. Didn't know who he was. Didn't know who he was, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy. But I'm glad I didn't know who he was, because had I would have known who he was, now I don't normally get starstruck, but sometimes in some scenarios you just never know. So I gave him my regular natural aura. But that's the same, like you said. You already know Team Rollins, Team Chappelle. That's the same aura that is in the building. So it's like you immerse yourself with it. Now, if you observe and looking on the outside in, you're going to become in awe. But once you start to talk and you kind of like get yourself in it, then it just becomes a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's an absolutely incredible, amazing thing. And I mean, and again, it's the energy and it's the people. And like just today, just what they brought to my home, and what this right here, this just adds on to the energy that already came. Just seeing you again. I mean, it's again. I say this all the time. If I could get "thank you" tattooed on my forehead, I would get "thank you" tattooed on my forehead, because so many people don't know, how much they bring to our table, how much energy, how much, like you just mentioned Marshall, and I've said this over and over again. I even said it again when we were sitting down eating to 40 and to Donnell today. My highlight of last year was when Marshall got up on stage, and Marshall was up there with Donnell, with Joe Rogan, with that's where Marshall belongs. To see that he got that was I'm still carrying that energy to this day. Just thinking about that, just seeing Marshall up there, and the next day, just the way he talked, he doesn't even have to say anything. He'll just look into the camera with that smile, and it's everything.
Buddy. And Marshall was a good guy, man. Every time I connect with him, I'm always learning something new. Like, it's a lot of few of us who don't hesitate to share information. But Marshall, he's a guy to say, "Yo, you got this app? You got that app? Yo, you need to download this app. What? You do all that to do that, man? Look, check this out. You can do that in one click," and just share with you the information that you need. And even with you, I remember, I was on set here in Baltimore at 6 Point Pictures with my friend Jamal Jones and a few others. I forgot what we were doing, but I think that the guy Jamal, my homie Jamal, he was cracking on Donnell about something. Oh yeah, it was the seat. He said the seat is just as ashy as your homeboy Ashy Larry. I said, for real, yo? I said, all right, yo, I'm gonna text him. That's what you said. And the chair, it was like a fabric, old, like, computer chair. But I texted the Donnell, and right when I texted the Donnell, I mean, I don't know how you did it, Andy, but yo, you did it within a split second, and you put that guy. It was that guy that the one I forgot is the comedian's the guy. He was viral at some point, but he disappeared off the face of the earth. But you put his image right there in the chair, and you put him and I was like, yo, how did he do that fast? The whole set, because we was wrapping up. Everybody on set was like, yo, how did yo do that fast, man? So the availability and just the sacrifice of you servicing, you're being a service to others, man. That goes a long way, and the comedy when you do get when you said when I seen the photos that you were on stage, I was like, what in the world? Like, Andy, how you do that? I would be nervous as I don't know what. And then when you be around Donnell, you think that, oh, that looks easy, because you be around Donnell so much, you start to understand his content, how he vibes. But nope. Even when I was at Boston, when I spoke in front of those people, man, nothing went as planned. Nothing went as planned. But hey, it flowed out, and they was like, "No, you can talk longer." I said, "Yeah, but you only said I can go 15 minutes. I didn't want to go for." But yeah, man, like, so I commend you for even doing that. 5 minutes. 5 minutes seemed like a whole half an hour to some folks, because they say that's the greatest fear. They said public speaking is one of the most terrifying things. You get what I'm saying? That people just don't necessarily like, especially when you're speaking in front of a crowd of 150 or more, or even less. It could be 20 people. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's just wild, man. But yeah, Marshall, he's definitely, I'm proud of him. When I seen him doing that at the summer camp, that was amazing, man. And then, I kind of was jealous a little bit, man, when I seen y'all with you had this, y'all had the what is it, the rug or whatever. I said, where my rug at, man? Where my rug? Where my mask at, man? I told Donnell, I said, yo, bring me a 2020 mask, man. I don't want a 2020. They ain't bring it back. They ain't bring it to me though, but yeah.
Listen, I'll throw him under the bus right now too, because when he was here today, Jayden was wearing one of his 2018 tour shirts. Jayden was wearing one, and then Donnell starts going through his bag, and he's like, "Oh, you got this, you got that." I said, "No, I don't have any ninja stuff. I don't have anything past 2018 from you." Like, I was like, the Donnell Rolling Show, the logo that my wife and I designed. I don't have any Donnell Rolling Show stuff. I threw him right under. He's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I forgot who else does that.
I'm like, who did he send it to? Who's got that now?
Yo, we be all in the car with the Heather B and all that other stuff, man. Like, what? You said it to who? You said it to what? It's brilliant, man. It's really brilliant, man. But I'm thank you for, like I said, for always coming through, man. For always, even when I was sharing with you, off a regular conversation, I think it was something that I said that one of my I think it was a story that I said one of my coworkers that said I look like Miguel and Derrick Rose, and then within a split second before I knew it, you shared it, sent me that, man. Everybody, man, that post had mad engagement, man. I archived it though because I didn't want nobody else, saying that or getting any idea. Because my uncle turned 80 March 20th, right? Just 2 weeks ago. I known him all my life. He was watching the game. He said, "You know what, nephew?"
Oh no, I lost you.
Somebody tried to call me. Anyway, I'm back. He said, "I was watching the game, nephew," and what he say? He said, "I was watching the game, and you look like that young man. You look like that young man on there." I said, "Who you talking about, Uncle Tim?" He said, "Derrick Rose." I said, "Yo, come on now, yo." I've known you all my life, and you ain't never say that. He said, and so yeah, man. But yo, when you did that, you put my sneakers on there, man. I said, Andy with hand, Bearded Humor with hand, man. So I appreciate you letting me be in the archives, or what do you call it, the archives of Andy Humor, the Bearded Humor.
And listen, you know whatever you need, anything, anytime. You know that. You know you can reach out to me for anything, anytime. I mean that's how we roll. I mean I'm just honored to be a part of the team that I'm a part of. I'm just honored. One of my greatest things is knowing that I'm a part of making people laugh. Like when Donnell and I do something and post it up, I read every single comment because I know I was the I hate yous, the somebody take his phone away, the stop this man, like I love those because
wow.
I'm a part of when you see like just dropped my phone. I literally laughed out loud. I cried. I know that I was a small part of changing someone's day, just that much. And
Mm.
that's more to me than anything. I mean, you know, like you said, whether you're talking to 200 people, whether you're talking to 2 people, it's knowing that you somehow connected, somehow gave a positive energy to just one person. I mean, that's the greatest feeling in the world. And to be able to do that, and again, it's not just me, it's you, it's Donnell, it's Marshall, it's everybody that brings what they bring. What's give me the term again? The glorious?
Glorious Heroes. I keep
Glorious?
my name for everybody on the live that don't know. My name's Akio. Akio Glorious Heroes is a brand that I started in I think it was 2015, 2016. And it was because when my mother passed away, I realized in her passing what my name meant. And my name means, it's in Japanese, it means bright man and glorious hero. So what I did was, I said, okay, to commemorate my mom, and I'm gonna just make my line Akio's Glorious Heroes. You know what I mean? And for each tag I put on the left side of the sneakers or some of my t-shirts, the logo or the tag on the hang tag of the shoe always goes on the left side, because that's where the heart is. The heart is right there on the left side. So I kind of like went with that, and you know, it's been taking off ever since, man, with just the story that's inside the Jayden Spideyverse shoes, or the story that's inside the Dave Chappelle shoes or the Kevin Hart shoes. It's the story that matters, because granted, say you're pitching a product, not even pitching a product, because it's not about sales all the time, but people are not buying into your brand, they're not buying into the product, they're buying into your story. People that's why memes are so popular. People are laughing at the meme, but they're attached to the meme because of the emotion or the story behind why that meme was created. And then when you know the story behind the meme, because when you look at a meme, when you see, yo, why are they putting Bernie on there? You're forced to know what's the story behind why that meme was created. It's the story. Stories are powerful. You get what I'm saying? So we have to always keep in mind that we need to always be telling a story. And it's funny that I'm talking about that, because I was just listening to a seminar. I mean, not a seminar. It was a lecture with one of these fashion designers who I admire. And they said, where do you feel like streetwear is going? Because streetwear, as anything else, is going to die off. So where do you think streetwear is going to go after that? And he said, to be honest with you, I honestly think that people are going to start wearing their own stories. They're going to start wearing, they're going to be wanting to be inspired by wearing things that has a story attached to it, rather than just being a logo, rather than just being just something from what do you call it, Macy's or anything like that of that nature. And then it's crazy, because that's what some of us like you and I are already doing with our shirts, or with merch, or with the shoes. We're creating, it's a story. It's just not stuff that's slapped on just for the sake of an aesthetic or a colorway or whatever the case may have you. Things are going to be shifting in that way, and I'm glad and grateful to be a part of it. I'm glad and grateful to witness your journey as well. And granted, like you see, you bring up Marshall because you see a part of you and him, and I feel like in divine timing, you're going to also be in that realm. You're also going to be on that stage with Joe Rogan and all that other stuff in the nature, because you have a story in itself too. And for you to, of all people, to still say, like you just said a few moments ago, you know, if I could change anything, I wouldn't allow it to change. I would like keep it the same. That's what somewhat of the storytellers like Dave, the storyteller's story. That's what they do as far as with the pain that they go through, whether it be Dave not wanting to pay attention to what the internet is saying, you know, so he leans on Elaine to do so. And then he still makes it into a story. Like how you say, yo, I look at the comments, I'm like, wow, okay, I'm able to impact these people, whether it be out of a negative or positive, that I impacted their day with this. So it's powerful, man. So if we hold on to that and then start telling our stories, you get what I'm saying? Start telling our stories a little bit more. I feel like the world will be a better place. Not to sound cliche, not to be on no Sesame Street stuff, but it's true. Not even just telling your story amongst others. I'm talking about the world, but even sharing your story with your peers, sharing your story with your friends. Because if you don't necessarily share your story, people are going to start making the story in their own scenario, what you're going through. And then until they see your story, then that's when they're like, oh, wow. And then I'm going through that. Oh wow, wow. Oh, why Marshall on stage? Man, what give him the right to do that? No, if you knew his story, you know that he was in that grind. You know that he had to sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So it comes all into it plays all into that, man. So definitely, man, definitely. I mean,
Let me ask you this, because you are definitely on a journey, and again, it's an enjoyable one. It's an inspiring one to watch. What's next? Because you got the sneakers, you got the clothing, you got what do you have? What's going on right now, and what's coming next from you? Because that's what I'm excited. What's next?
well, what's going on now is I'm actually I've I'm sending off these last few packages to Universal Studios on network. A few of the cast, these two guys, my guys, Kwame and Arlen, they had commissioned me to make the cast some sneakers, and I've been locked into doing that. And I wanted to keep things under wraps, but once the main character of the show started sharing stuff in the stores yesterday, I said, okay, I can give people a little sneak peek. But I wanted to act, you know how I normally do when I release the videos. I release the videos and the shoes all in itself, right, as a visual. So I wanted to go about it within that approach. But they're going to share the stuff in the network, and it's crazy. And I'm sharing this because it's only a few people that's going to see this, but I was told the news after some of them had received their gifts that they said that then these people, they want to ask, some of them want to ask this, some of them have written for movies, television shows. They said that the sneakers, the art pieces that I've done, was one of the best rap gifts that they ever received. And they received a lot of gifts doing television and movies. So I looked at that like, wow. And I kind of want to go that route now. I kind of want to go the route of doing production, doing movies, because it started with me being contacted by HBO. And when they contacted me, I said, wow, HBO contacted me, and they wanted me to do these weather boxes for Charms of the King, and they commissioned me for a consultation of my artistic direction, and they pretty much stapled me across the whole entire, they gave me the direction of the whole entire box. That was a blessing in itself. But when I noticed that, I said, well, if they sought me out, who else can sort me out? And it's funny because the mind is impressionable. Once you start thinking that stuff, and once you start really tapping in, then you get exposed to other things. And that's what followed after that, also with the David McMahon and some few other things that's happening too that I just got contacted for, but I don't want to just share that as of yet, but it is on the same realm as far as production and movies and Netflix and stuff like that. With just that's the avenue I want to take with my art. Just the being the rap gifts, and also I have a lot of other stuff coming up with releasing some merch with what I've already been doing so far with the limited merch. But it's a lot going on, man. The reason why I'm looking away, because I'm trying not to give too much, because I'm supposed to keep things under wraps. But I can only share, because it's the thing of it is that when I create things, it's always a surprise. Even though I want to share and I want to pour out what's really going on, I can't necessarily pour out what's going on if I'm doing stuff for Stevie Wonder. It has to kind of like be under the wraps, because if somebody, said, hey, this guy Keo is supposed to be making what? Oh, I didn't know. And then that surprise is wrong. The contract is compromised. So, but it's some great things, Andy, that is definitely happening, and I'm excited for. What I guess what I'm going to talk about, what I've already been doing with the merch, is I have a lot of limited collectors that I'm going to actually be releasing as well. And I'm just looking forward to just producing and just creating, and also wherever I land, because granted, the individuals that I'm connected with, they are, producers, they're directors. And me, I've always, since my childhood life, I always wanted to act. You get what I'm saying? I know how to actually act. So who's to say, man? I look at like how you've been doing with your memes and how you've been always doing with your art. I feel like it's going to evolve. Like you was in the movie with Silent Bob. Like what? Like what, man? Like I'm still blown away by that. Like what? How? I'm not asking you how, but I'm saying like what? How? So what I say is that it's going to evolve. Like it's going to evolve into something, and that's why I'm looking at it with me. Yeah, I'm doing film one day. I'm doing shoes one day. Hey, you might see me on the screen one day. I can't honestly say, but it's a lot that's going on that is actually going to make sense down the line. So yeah.
How much of it do you believe is positively envisioning it, is speaking it into existence.
A lot of it. A lot of it, because I'm gonna tell you why. It's, okay, I'm gonna share something with you. Just in the same feedback that I got, that those individuals said that that was one of the best rap gifts that they ever received. And I was talking to Kwame. I was like, "Yo, Dad, yo." He said, "Yeah, yo, the rap, like the rap gifts, that might be a thing. Like, that's wild." And somebody else contacted me, and they said, "Hey, how would you like it to do X, Y, and Z for this X, Y, and Z? And we want to see. I'm gonna talk to the producer, but if this works out, then we're gonna connect you, and you're gonna be able to do this for this production." And as a rap gift. Now, this was in 2 hours after him and I had the conversation, and them two don't even know each other. So yes, I believe in that. I believe in the power, and it happened today. A coworker of mine, we were just talking about this other guy, and it's crazy. It comes full circle. I wish I could share a lot with you to that, but no, I believe that wholeheartedly. That a lot comes from you speaking things. You actually, and then when you speak it, you have to do the small work in between time. And sometimes we subconscious, because I beat myself up a lot, and sometimes I'll be feeling like I don't be doing as much, right? But then my friends be like, "Yo, on your off day, yo, you supposed to be off." But me, I look at my off day as joyous days. I can get more stuff done. Like right now, this is probably be the only time that I'm like, I'm just not doing something. I just wore this, but if I wasn't wearing this, I wear my apron and I'm doing sneakers, or I'm making the shirts, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah. To answer your question, all in a nutshell, I do believe in that. Just envisioning and writing it down, because when you write stuff down, it's powerful as well, especially early in the morning when you're not necessarily automatically connected to the phone. I've learned that it increases your opportunity to just focus on that by putting the pens is always around me, putting that pen to the paper and writing it down, because believe it or not, there's some things that I written down on a few of my journals. Like this whole journal was full. I got about 5 of these. They're full. And I look at it, it's some things that I had, the dreams that I remember, or ideas that I'll read back, and I look at things and like, wow, that happened. That actually happened. So yeah, I believe in that wholeheartedly, man. So yeah.
I had somebody on here a couple of months ago through some comedy, Ruben, and he said something to me, and I just actually messaged him the other day, and I thanked him for it. And it's a common thing. He said something to me that we've all heard before, but I forgot it. And he just said, create something every day. He goes, doesn't have to be a meme, doesn't have to be comedy, doesn't have to be just something. Whether you draw something, whether you write down an idea, he goes, create at least one thing a day. He goes, get your mind in that mindset of creating one. You may never use it again. It may not be a joke that you'll ever use. It may not be a meme that'll ever go anywhere. He goes, but just it's the muscle memory.
Yes.
It's the keep it sharp. Just keep it sharp, keep it going. Even like Donnell and I were talking today too. And I've recently just been back on a great writing kick. It's like, it's weird now. Like I asked my wife, I'm like, did you realize that I was up at 2 o'clock this morning? She's like, no, like I'll get my phone and I'll just and I'll just start, okay. And then in a couple of days, I'll go back and I'll look at it and then I'll write it out. But it's like, I've really been getting creative again, and it feels good. But even during the times that it was a lull, I've learned not to get upset with that. Because I used to get upset. I'm sure when you get those creative blocks, you're, oh God, like why, like what? No, accept it. Give yourself a little bit of a break. Maybe not work on what you were working on. Maybe create something else. Keep your juices flowing. When you come back to it, it's gonna flow. It's never gonna not come back to you, and that. You just get frustrated sometimes when you can't create. So just let it come back. And I'm finding myself in a much more creative place now than I've been in a long time, and especially with writing. Writing's been hard for me for a long time. I've always pushed myself to write, but now a lot of things they seem to be just falling in place, and I'm writing a lot more. And it's not just jokes. I'm starting to write stories, and I'm starting to put more things together. And again, it just feels good. Timing, the universe, who knows? Just go with it. Don't push yourself. Don't force yourself. You got to do something every day, though. That you have to do. You can't just lay back. It's not going to come to you. You can't just lay there in bed and go, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be famous. No, it's speak it into existence. But like you said, you got to put the work into it. You have to.
Small seeds, like it's a seed. And then when you plant that seed, you just can't keep on looking at how's the seed growing. You have to bury it deep. When you bury it deep, is the each and every layer is part of the work that you're actually layering down to build that foundation. So eventually it's going to sprout up, you know what I mean? And that when it sprouts up, yeah.
Is there anything in the studio that's not commissioned or anything like that? Can you show us some past work, some of your artwork? Because I mean, your stuff is amazing on all the platforms that you do.
I did actually bring these so that just in case you might have said something. These were made March 22nd of 2019. These are the Us sneakers, and this was one of the first pairs that I did. I took 2 of the Nike checks, made it into a pair of scissors, and this is pretty much the glove, right? So this is the tethered side. For those who didn't see Us was like these were the doppelgangers, you know, and this was the original family, the Johnson's family. So this glass piece, this is real glass. I've actually added this aesthetic to this shoe because I wanted to, I don't know, it's funny because I thought of both of them looking at each other, and I like when they look at themselves in the mirror the pizza character had her face between what's being, how it coincides with the person that's receiving it. Like, okay, for example, when he finally got his sneak, I had put Compton's Finest, as with any product, I think that anybody probably would have, but put Compton's Finest on the box. But I was to put Compton's Finest on the box just because, you know, yeah, I don't, not too many people want to see this live, but I was supposed to share this. But how did you know to put the Compton's Finest on the box? Well, that's the name of my new Netflix series that I'm actually breaking the stereotypes about the real people from Compton. You have Serena, you have it's going to highlight how many people are from Compton that actually made impact. You get what I'm saying? Positive impact. You get what I'm saying? And then you know, or for the simple fact that when I did the Black Panther shirts, you know, I was wearing them all summer, and the day that I planned to release them, it was on a Friday. On the 27th, I said, "Yo, I'm gonna release these I'm gonna release these tomorrow on the 28th." During the 28th, Chadwick Boseman passed away. So hopefully, if you okay, good. But the other pair that I have here is, of course, the protest joints that I did. This was back in, I believe, what was this? June 20th. Yeah, June 2020. You know what I mean? But I kind of like when I made these, man. This was something that man, I it's wild, man. It's wild. I feel like I can't even. Even me sharing that, man. It got me a little choked up there, man. It was wild, man, because you know I looked at these images every day as I scrolled on to social media of all these souls that were taken, you know, innocent lives that was taken, and I thought nothing of it, you know what I mean. But then when I actually printed the design out and I seen it, bro. Like I recorded after the fact for my own archives. I didn't post it, but I I was crying, man, because I felt like it was like when I looked at the sheet before I actually molded onto the shoe. It was, I seen the eyes, and it was like the eyes was looking straight at me, you know. And that's my first time sharing about this publicly. And I was just like, and then when a lot of individuals, when I finally shared it, they was like, "Yo, like I gotta get them, man. You gotta sell it." I'm like, bro, you don't even know what it took for me to make these, man. Like, I didn't ride the wave. Like, everybody was making at the time when George Floyd passed, everybody was just creating art, and rightfully so. With sneakers, people just hurried up and doing it for the sake of, and rightfully so. But me, I wanted to not just highlight the moment, I wanted to highlight what was going on all the way back into, all the way into the now time, especially with the pandemic and what was going on. And yeah, that piece was right there. But those were supposed to be made because I wanted to have them in the museum. But with COVID happening, the pandemic happening, that kind of slowed things down for me to not have them there. So I feel like that is still going to happen. But with the pandemic, things are like, you know, I'm waiting for things to move according to plan. But I mean, with being safe, like how you said in the beginning, it's like keys. I'm being safe. I'm wearing the mask. Yeah, I'm doing that too. Like that's why I got this afro because I ain't even getting my hair cut. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And of course, I got the hoodie here. This is when the Marvel, Monica Rambeau first was featured in the Spider-Man issue in 1982. So it has the comic strips on the side here. And some of these comic books that I'll be making, this started with the Black Panther that I didn't release that time, but then I started I started with Media Man, and then went to Black Panther, and then it went to a lot of different other superheroes. Because Akiyo's Glorious Heroes, of course, like I said before, it goes on the left side, you know, Glorious Heroes. It kind of coincides with, you know, the heroes, you know what I mean, us being our own heroes, you know, like Jayden, he's been his own hero every day. You know, his enemy is the arch nemesis is the seizures that may come up, but every day he has to be his own hero. He has to continue to fight. You get what I'm saying? Y'all had to continue to fight, you know what I mean? You know, so I feel like everybody is being their own hero, and you know, we have to be in order to be a hero for others. You get what I'm saying? Because, you know, a lot of people shun the hero. They're like, yo, I'm an anti-hero. Well, yo, you gotta be somebody hero. You got, you know, you got even villains. We praise the villains. Sometimes even the villains had to once in a while join the squad, like join the superhero squad, because they don't want they want to keep doing wrecking havoc in their world. They don't want the villain that's overpowering them to wipe out everybody. So they gotta help Batman, or they gotta help, you know, whoever, just to sustain. So yeah, it's that, man. But that's all I have right now to actually show. I can't necessarily show the private commissions because I'm, you know, yeah. But yeah, man.
I mean, it's again, you're an artist, but your art, and it goes back to certain things, just like you said, like you